center is Ashley Butcher. So Ashley, as many of you might know, wears a bunch of different hats for campus. You might be meeting with her one day to set up a cost center, but at the same time, she's also overseeing the iLab implementation, which many people are very, very excited about. And I think it's going to have a really positive impact on especially access to some of our really core facilities. So Ashley, that said, you got your own slide deck, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually work off our website so that we can share the link with everybody after.
Sounds great. And again, for people that just jumped on to respond to some of the messages in the chat, yes, the presentations will be available. They're going to be available on our secure site. And for those of you that requested June's personally, I will take care of it. Thanks, Ashley.
All right, so I'm just going to take some time to talk about Blue Services, which is powered by iLab. So many of you may have heard about iLab or Blue Services. It's similar to just Blue Services is the branding for iLab. So just like Shop Blue is powered by, I think, Jagger. It's a similar platform naming convention. But this is our service center support system that we are implementing across campus. So you can see we have, over 100 service centers here on campus, and currently we're onboarding 12 and 14 of them have already gone live. So you may have had the opportunity to interact with some of the service centers. I'm going to switch over to our list of live service centers. So within the medical school right now, the Bailing Simulation Center is utilizing the software Pathology and Anatomical Sciences Research Service Center. And then we also have a handful of them going live in October. So you should be getting notifications soon from service centers if you utilize the Health Science Instrument Shop is another one. The cardiology study coordinators. I know the CRO's office is implementing the Center for Biomedical Imaging. So as they continue to go live, they'll be available on our homepage where you can, you know, learn more. Let's see. I'm just going to go over kind of the high level goals of the project in case anyone's not familiar with the platform yet. But basically, this service center operation software creates a platform for departments to view all instruments and services available on campus. So there are, back on that homepage, search features. So if you're looking for a particular instrument or service, you can search and it'll let you know if, one of UB centers has it. It establishes calendars and workflows for resource scheduling and service requests. So a lot of our service centers, you can get permissioned on calendars, so you can reserve the equipment. You can fill out forms to request different services. It allows our service centers to manage their customers and accounts receivable. So the system tracks all of the usage, all of the services provided, and then accumulates it so that at the end of the month we can send out consolidated invoicing. It is integrated with the university's chart of account. So when you get an invoice, you'll be able to select your account number from a drop down or change it based on your cost approver access. And so those funds can automatically be transferred from your account to the service center account. So this will replace all of the paper IDIs and that process that is currently in place. And then improving record keeping and reporting. So it has a lot of great resources. Your profile will have a copy of every invoice or service request that you have. So if, a grant ever gets audited, we can easily, pull the backup information for our services, our service centers. We can run reporting on, how many hours of equipment usage, things like that. And then on our webpage, we do have some really good user guide. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through these, but you can reach out to our customer support team or on our user guides. It goes through a lot of helpful information about logging into the system, managing your profile, approving invoices, and things like that. I'm going to touch on a few things in the system. So the first, this is a sample test user profile page. So if you're a cost approver here at the university or a PI, you will automatically have an account created. So when you go to log in, you'll log in with your UBIT and password, and you can navigate up in this left-hand corner to your group. So if you click on your name under My Groups, it will take you to your page. But I'm going to use this test user as an example. There's some different features within your page that you can update. So as individuals request access to your group, so if you have students working for you or other researchers and things like that, they can be added to your team. So you can see our test user has, 4 different team members. You can set thresholds. So I think the default right now is $100,000. So the university kept it very high. But as the PI or cost approver, you can update these if you'd like. So what this feature does is if someone makes a request for services or a calendar reservation that's over that threshold amount based on the services, it'll require you to approve it before the center can start the work or before the reservation can actually be put on the calendar. So some of our PIs, if you're budgeting or different things like that, might take advantage. You can also use the edit user membership next to individuals. So if you have different individuals on your team and some of them are allowed to, spend more than others, you can do it, but you can update that by person as well. So if someone requests access to your account on this membership request and account numbers, you would see the access request with either an approve or reject button. Once you approve them to be part of your group, this next step is really important. So this is going to be a grid of all of the account numbers that you have access to buy things with at the university. It is all funds, so it will have state, RF, and UBF accounts. You want to permission them on the correct account by just selecting the little checkbox. So I can update these account numbers. And then if this is what will drive what your team member or student sees when they go to make a reservation. So when they go to make a reservation in the system, and I can share an example of that in a minute, it will populate, what lab they want to make it on behalf of. So if you have a student that's maybe a member of a couple different PIs groups, they'll have to pick who their cost approver is. And then when the drop down from there will display the different accounts that they have access to spend on. So if I transfer over to a sample service center, so this is our Pathology and Anatomical Sciences Research Service Center. Every center's kind of page looks similarly structured. Their About Our Core page will have just general information about the services that they offer, who their leadership is, locations and hours of operation. If there's additional web pages, resources, some of them may choose to have a map if there's a physical location that people have to travel to, and then their contact information. Just gonna switch over really quick to the customer test mode so that you'll see the tabs that you would see if you navigated to this page. From the schedule equipment, you'll be able to see the different instruments within the center, and then you can view the schedule you may see this, and that's why I wanted to switch to customer test mode. So schedules are only available to users who are permissioned on the piece of equipment. So our test user in this case is not permissioned on the Biorad Bioplex 200, so they'll get this message. Once you've been permissioned on the calendar, I'm gonna go back. When you hit the view schedule, you'll see the calendar and then you'll be able to make a reservation. To make a reservation, you would just drag down. This information will automatically populate with your name because I'm an admin. It wants me to pick a user, so I'm gonna pick our Buffalo test user. This is where I can see they're only part of one group, which is our main test user. There's different options, so you can create a repeating reservation. So if you had a project and you wanted to use this, every Monday at a certain time, you could enable that. It'll let you know based on the cost of the instrument what the amount of the charge would be for that particular reservation. And then the account numbers display in this grid. So you would be able to select the account number and then make the reservation. I'm not going to make the reservation because this is a live calendar. So I'm just going to exit out. Similarly, some of our service centers provide additional services. So this request services tab may have different forms that you might need to fill out. So training requests, service requests, you would hit the initiate request and then answer a series of questions, and that would get sent to the service center for them to perform the work, assign any appropriate charges to it, and then you would be able to view that request in the view all requests at any time. At the end of the month, whomever the cost approver or PI group is, you will get a consolidated invoice emailed to you with all charges. This is a sample invoice of one of our centers from using the test user. It'll have a unique invoice number, the date, and then your lab information. And then it will break down the services by the different members of your group and the different requests or reservations that where you utilize the equipment. If something is inaccurate, you can initiate a dispute by clicking this little yellow flag. So maybe you got billed for 3 hours and you're not sure that that's correct, so you want to have a conversation with the service center. If you hit that initiate dispute, it'll prevent the invoice from, moving forward. If you need to change the account number, you can click this little dollar sign, and then you could update the account number. Make sure you click the little check boxes next to the amounts that you want to update, because if you don't do that, it won't apply the correct account number. And then at the top, you'll see a green bar if the invoice needs approval. And so you can click, there'll be a green bar up here that you can click approve, and that will send the invoice back to our team so that the charges get consolidated and the file feeds move the funds from one account to the other. If you do not sign, approve, dispute, change account numbers, take any action within 10 days of receiving the invoice, the system will auto approve it and move it forward. So make sure you take a look at your invoices. And if you have any questions, reach out, and the service center can work with you to make any changes. I'm gonna pause there and I'll kind of open it up. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Sadly, Ashley, because we're so tight for time today, we're actually not permitting them.
Oh,
Um,
well, you
So,
can reach out if you have any questions to our UBS-Blue Services at buffalo.edu email address. And I can always share the link to our website and our email with you, Jill, and then you can forward it on.
well, I want to say thank you for taking the time to do the presentation. Thank you for everything that you've done for iLabs, because I'm hearing great things from a lot of the cores and some of the ADRs. And thank you for helping our office. You've done some great things to get us started as well. So very much appreciate it. So
Thank
we're
you.
gonna
Have a good